Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video, and today we are covering the long-awaited Rey Hero's Journey. This is the event that allows you to get Rey Jedi Training. And to start off, this is what you want to know. What character requirements are there for the journey? So the characters that you need are Scavenger Rey, Finn, BB-8, Vet Han, Vet Chewie. They all need to be at 7 stars. And then this is the gear and Omega and ability level that I had them at. Basically all gear 8. BB-8 was at gear 9, but you don't need them there. A couple of Omegas, but no Zetas except for Finn's lead, which again, I have, but is not necessary. So if you have these characters at gear 8 and you have decent arena mods, I ended up putting about 80 to 100 speed on each of the characters to get through the event. You can do this, and you won't have to overinvest. Characters like the Vet Smugglers aren't really used in endgame or anywhere else other than for this event, so you don't want to put more gear on them than you have to. Gear 8 will get you through with good mods and good planning and a little bit of RNG. Gear 9 and you will breeze through this thing. So for the first stage here, you can see I have it sped up. This is a gimme. It's just, do you have the characters required at 7 stars? And again, I didn't even move my mods over at this time. I hadn't moved up their abilities. So I was able to breeze through that without much difficulty at all. And if you're having trouble there, then you might as well start investing some more gear or waiting until next time, because that's the easiest one that there is. For Tier 2, we again have Finn. Now this time we have BB-8 and the 2 veterans, Vet Han and Vet Chewie. And again, fairly easy here. This is a one-wave fight. There are no rounds. If you beat the 6 First Order troopers that you're seeing here, you'll get through this. And there's no real threat. The 3 stormtroopers, the 3 First Order stormtroopers will taunt. So they're going to kind of soak up the damage and prevent you from getting through. The riot control guy isn't really a damage dealer. He's more of a buffer. He gives a lot of protection up. He gives some turn meter out, it looks like. But he's not really a threat either. The 2 that you have to worry about, I guess, are the First Order officers. They can give out advantage. They can manipulate turn meter. But even them, they're not that difficult. What I would recommend you do is focus on one of the First Order Stormtroopers at a time. And if it has taunt, be careful you don't strip the taunt off, because then another one's going to taunt and prevent you from continuing that damage. So focus all your damage on the First Order Stormtrooper that taunts first. Burn them down. If you have Finn's leadership, you can get some exposes, you can do some extra damage. But other than that, you're just waiting for BB-8 to get Illuminated Destiny off. There's not a lot of damage output coming to you, so you can kind of delay, take your time, use specials, reduce that cooldown on Illuminated Destiny, and when that finally pops for you, you'll be able then to burn down these guys a little more quickly. And again, you don't really have to worry about too much damage coming out from that lineup. So Tier 2, again, very easy. I don't think I'd move mods maybe on 1 or 2 of the characters, but certainly not through the whole lineup there for that one. And you make your way to Tier 3. Now, the reason things get a little harder here is you're restricted to just 3 characters, and you've got a 4-wave fight. So if you're at Gear 8, your characters don't have a lot of room for error. If you get a little unlucky and there's 2 or 3 attacks in a row on the same character, you could lose their protection and half of their health, and then you're 1 critical hit away from losing that character. And if that happens early enough, you might have to restart. But normally, that's not going to be a problem. If you have the characters where they need to be, Gear 8 or above, you've got some mods, you've got some strategy down, you do have access to stuns here, so use those, pass them around. You should make it to Wave 4 pretty comfortably. And then when you get here, it's another Riot Trooper, a regular Stormtrooper, and Phasma. And again, the Stormtrooper is going to block you from getting through to the other 2. So I would recommend you go for the Stormtrooper first, burn him down, and then you can go to Phasma, and finally the Riot Trooper at the end. But again, there's only 3 on 3. You can use your stuns to kind of delay the damage, and as long as you make it here with some reasonable amount of health or protection on your 3 characters, you'll be able to get through this. If you make it through 2 on 3, you might have some difficulty, so just keep that in mind. If you take a couple of bad hits early, consider restarting and saving yourself some time. But again, not too difficult. So With Wave 3 down, Tier 3 of this event, we make it to Tier 4. And this is where the rubber starts to meet the road. In this fight, we need to use Rey, Finn, and Veteran Smuggler Chewbacca. So only 3 characters, and it gets a little tougher at this point. Thankfully, Chewie does have a stun, Finn does have a stun, and Rey can give herself Foresight. I think it's with her first special ability, and it's conditional if she doesn't have any buffs, I believe. But know the abilities for these characters. If you don't use them a lot, take a minute to read them and figure out. Remember, the name of the game here is getting through this grinder. It's 5 waves this time, just 3 characters. There's a lot of chance for the enemy to do damage to your characters. Fortunately, each of the waves, they're not too packed here. You can see just 2 or 3 enemies, but it is a long fight. You don't have a lot of health and protection if you're at these low gear. So if you can stun, then it might be a good idea to stun if it prevents 1 or 2 attacks coming from a high damage enemy. If you can put Foresight on Rey, good idea, because if she takes the next shot, that's no damage on any of your team. It just soaks up the Foresight. So keep that in mind. Again, you may get unlucky if the first 3 attacks all go to Finn and burn off his protection and some of his health. Yeah, you're probably not going to make it through that time. Don't get frustrated. Have a little patience. As you can see, I did make it through. I told you what I had. So know that if you have a similar setup to mine, similar gear, mods, and abilities, you can do it. Just you have to put in a little bit of time and a little bit of patience to get the RNG and the strategy to work out in your favor. So here we are in Wave 4, and again, nothing too serious, but when you get to Wave 5, we can see that we have 3 First Order pilots, and then a Stormtrooper, an Officer, and the Riot Trooper again. So the damage dealers here are the TIE pilots. You want to get them down as quickly as possible. The Stormtrooper is going to taunt at some point. So you need to, again, consider, can you burn down one of the TIE pilots before the First Order Stormtrooper taunts? If you spend your first turn attacking one pilot, you don't get him down, the Stormtrooper taunts, and then that pilot gets to attack once or twice before you actually get to take him out, then yeah, you might be in trouble here and you might need a restart. But if you can get that first one down, do so, and then I would say it's probably best to focus on the Stormtrooper, because at some point it's going to taunt. So if you can get the damage in early, then it taunts, you're still working on it, you can finish it off before moving on to the remaining 2 TIE Fighter pilots, and then finally the Officer, and then the Riot Trooper again at the end. Not too difficult. Did take a couple of tries. This one was like a 2 or 3 restart until I got a couple of things worked out with the strategy, figured out when to use Rey's Foresight, when to get her offense up going, and to get lucky with the stun. Finn's stun can be resisted, and if you're able to land those stuns, every time you do, you're preventing damage to your team and damages the enemy here. You don't have health or protection regeneration, so you just need to weather the storm. The damage needs to be spread across your allies, and every hit you can prevent is going to help the longevity of your team. So again, not too bad. You can get through this with a little bit of patience, and when you get it down to just the final 2, again, I would save the Riot Trooper for last, because then he's not going to be giving out these buffs on characters that you're working on and stopping. Save him for the end, burn him down all at once, you can stun him, and then take him out. So here we go. This is the challenge. This is where your run will live or die. Tier 5 is the toughest part of this event. 6 and 7 you can beat if you can get through 5. It's not going to be a problem. This is the challenge. Again, you're restricted to 3 characters. It's Finn, Rey Scavenger, and Vet Chewie. 3 waves. First wave is 3 characters. You can see an Officer and 2 Stormtroopers. And again, the name of the game is mitigating damage. Get the stuns out, get the Foresight up. Finn's, he does have a heal over time, and it gives him defense up. So maybe it's going to be worth doing that if you know Finn's going to take a hit, or if you know you're going to take a hit, and you're hoping it goes on either Finn with defense up or Rey with Foresight, and that's going to limit your damage. That might work. Use those early so that they're off cooldown when you go into the next wave. When you get into Wave 2, you can see First Order TIE Fighter pilot, an Officer, a Stormtrooper, and the Riot Trooper. Again, the main damage threat is the TIE Fighter pilot. Take it out as quickly as you can, and then you'll have to play it by ear. Do you go for the Stormtrooper? Do you go for the Officer? Did it taunt? Do you have your taunt removing ability ready to go? Play it by ear, but again, get that pilot down as quickly as possible. If he gets off a couple of shots, you're going to be in trouble. As you can see here, Finn is at below 25% health. I mean, this run could have ended at any time here if he takes one more hit from any of these enemies. If you lose Finn going into Wave 3, forget it. It's not going to happen. But this is the run that I'm showing you, so this is the one that's successful. So, keep that in mind. You can get a little unlucky and still recover from it if the rest of the things go your way. This fight took me, I probably did 5 runs at it without optimizing my team. I didn't have all the mods moved from my best arena team to these guys. I kind of just winged it and did it halfway, and then after running into this wall a couple times, realized I really needed to move the best of my stuff over here and play wisely with the abilities that I had if I wanted to get through this. So this is the reason that you don't need to hold back. This is the one where you need to spend your time and get everything going here. So 2 TIE Fighter pilots, a Stormtrooper, and a Riot Trooper. If you make it here with your full team, you've got a chance. Remember, stuns are your friend. Foresight is your friend. If the Finn takes a double tap from one of these TIE Fighter pilots, he's going to go down. So that's just the game I'm playing here, trying to get out as much damage as possible, stun when I can. If Finn puts up an expose, be sure to pop it if you've got the Zeta. It'll give you some turn meter. It'll give you some cooldown reduction, so there's not a lot of that you can do with the team that you're given, but every little bit helps. Again, when you're trying to scrape by, you want to eke out every little thing that you have from your team. So you don't need to put the Zeta on Finn, but it is one of the best PvE Zetas in the game. It is great for territory battles. You can clear all 6 waves of territory battles with a Gear 8 resistance team, basically, if you have Zeta Finn. So it's worth the investment if you have it laying around. It may give you a little bit of an edge here, but it's not going to carry the day. It's mostly about using the stuns, using the abilities, cycling, getting a little bit lucky, using Foresight, having the shots go to Rey when she's got Foresight, all that. So you can see we get it down to just Rey and Chewie against the Riot Trooper, and at this point, it's going to be a win. Again, you can cycle the stun from Chewie and Rey's Foresight, so there's going to be a chance that his attack has a 50% chance to miss if it goes after Rey with Foresight, which will be up fairly frequently at this point in the fight. So, stick with this one. Remember, this one is frustrating. Probably half of my runs attempting this battle didn't even make it to the third wave. Like, I was getting lit up in the second wave and wasn't able to get through to the third wave at all, let alone with all 3 characters being at least somewhat operational. You could see that Finn was at low health there. But one more stun from Chewie, and Rey can follow up with a couple attacks here, and we finish off the fight. And we're going to move on to Tier 6. This is basically getting into the victory lap now. You've made it past Tier 5. You're in good shape. You can taste it. It's coming. Jedi Training Rey, needed for Phase 1 of the Sith raid. Really important part to your development as a player in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So if you've made it past that, now you're on the downhill. Know that it's just a couple of keystrokes away here. So for Tier 6, it looks a little intimidating. You only get 2 characters. It's Finn and Rey, and you're matched up against Kylo Ren. But if you're familiar with the Luke Skywalker hero's journey, the duel between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, you don't need to win. All you need to do is activate Obi-Wan's special ability so you get the special cinematic. Same thing here. Rey has a new special ability, the second special in this fight, or the third special for her in this fight, will again trigger a cinematic scene and will win you the fight. So I don't think you can stun Kylo. Maybe it's possible, but I never was able to. He seems to be kind of immune to control, stuns, those kind of things. But that's not the idea here. The idea is to just survive. So I don't think I used my healing ability or my defense up for Finn until it was too late. I was trying to stun the whole time. So make sure you do that. Again, play defense here. You're just trying to get Rey to the cinematic to use her last special. There you go. And as soon as she completes that, you win that fight and complete Tier 6 of the event. So with Tier 6 complete, there's just one left. It's Tier 7, and it's, again, kind of a cool fight, but it's not a challenge. You get to use a provided character, a Rey. It's not Jedi Training Rey. I don't think she has the same abilities that Rey does when you unlock her. So it's this kind of hybrid character just for this event, but it's Rey. She's using a lightsaber. It's not your character. Your stats, I don't think your stats or your mods, I don't think anything matters, but the abilities here, you will overmatch Kylo Ren. There's 2 abilities, and Rey moves faster than he does. She can gain foresight. It's not a challenge. I don't know if you could lose this if you tried. That would be interesting. I didn't think to do that, but if I tried to pick, just basics and do the worst attack that I could each time, if that would result in losing. I don't think you can lose it. I think this is meant to be your final victory lap, your celebration of knowing you're going to get Rey, and this is the last step, and you get to kind of enjoy the moment as you battle Kylo Ren here in the snow. So there you can see, very easy, just a couple of moves. Nothing difficult about that one, and that caps off this event. That completes Tier 7. That gives you the final 30 shards you need to unlock Jedi Training Rey at 7 stars. So the big hurdle here is the grind. Some of the other legendary character events are very difficult. They require characters at a little bit higher gear level than this one maybe. But the challenge here is the grind. It's Veteran Han and Veteran Chewbacca. Oh man, that was the worst grind I've gone through in this game. 2 characters, 16 Cantina energy each, and you need to get them both. They both take the same energy, so steel yourself for that. It is brutal if you're not spending money, if you're doing a refresh or 2 a day, as opposed to 3, like really spending your crystals on those refreshes. It takes a while, but at the end of the day, the character is worth it. Great in the arena with a full team, great in Phase 1, and great basically anywhere in the Sith Raid. Just one of the most powerful characters in the game right now. Great character to add to your lineup. So if you're going to get her this time, good luck. I hope this video helps you out. If you do, if it does, please let me know. Feel free to leave a comment below. If you have questions, leave those and I will try to answer them as well. But if you're not ready, if you're still working on it, grind them now. You never know when the event's going to come again. The second time Rey showed up was very shortly after the first time, and I got caught off guard. I wasn't ready. I didn't have my vets ready to go. I had stopped and did a second grind for Fuzzy Han, for Cholo. So grind them now. You never know when she's going to come back again. You want to be ready. Better to be ready for longer than to not make it if she happens to come by on a short fuse again. So thank you for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please feel free to subscribe to Meat City Gaming for future Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes content. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.